Okay, excuse me. Oh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. John McGregor from Foundation Expo 88 and the 25th anniversary of World Expo 88 People's Committee, here reporting from Holland Park, from the humble Mr. Frankenmara Pitt's residence. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Pitt. How are you this morning, Frank?
Never been better.
Never been better, that's wonderful. And Frank has a wonderful story with regards to his role in saving the Expo 88 Nepal Peace Pagoda for World Expo 88. And he fondly regards the pagoda as Pitt's Pagoda, is that right?
Yeah, well, some people say that.
Yes,
Yeah.
but your role with saving the pagoda started, in fact, a few months before the Save the Pagoda Committee Fund was established, because you were a volunteer at Expo 88 and you're wearing your Expo 88 volunteer shirt as well.
Oh, you're a birdie. Yeah. But no use having if you're not going to wear it. Yes.
So what was it like to work as a volunteer?
Oh, marvellous. The people you meet, you don't meet that type of people other than a thing like that. They're so helpful, so thoughtful and so friendly that you really got to live it to realise what it's like and how good it is.
Because you meet people from all over the world, don't you?
Oh yes, most definitely.
And your role was you walked around the expo site as a guide, you were in different pavilions on different days, so you got to see quite a lot of the expo.
Well, that was the best way to see the expo.
Yes.
Go to a different part of it every day and meet different people.
And you're wearing your Expo 88 pass and your season pass, so you would have gone nearly every day, I suppose, or a few days a week?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I went every day, didn't I, Mum? Yes. I used to go in early because I could get in before the gates opened.
Yes, yes.
And get a seat for Mum.
Of course, yes, for Mrs. Pitt. And
she never had to hurry to get a seat.
oh, wasn't that lucky? That's one of the advantages of working as a volunteer.
You ought to see every day they had a different country.
Yes, yes, that's right.
And so you got involved with them and their ways. I learned a lot.
Of course, and we all did. And how did you learn about the Pagoda and the Save the Pagoda Committee Fund? There was something on the TV that you saw towards the end of Expo about them not having enough money for the pagoda or something like that.
Yes. You hit me quick with that one.
Because there was a story on the TV. They said they wanted to keep the pagoda, but there was a $30,000 shortfall or something like that.
Yeah.
And you and Mara said, look, we'll come in, and we won't do that holiday to South America.
Yeah. We'll save the pagoda.
So that's what happened.
Yeah.
So I'll fill in the details here. There was a Save the Pagoda Committee Fund established by Councillor David Hinchliffe, who was Deputy Mayor and a Brisbane City Council councillor. But there had to be a public interest test, and $50,000 of the $250,000 raised through the various levels of the Australian governments had to be raised by the general public. But there was a $30,000 shortfall. And Frankenmara Pitt, and I know this from a previous interview with Mr. Pitt, Frankenmara Pitt saw the story on the TV and they decided to donate $30,000 of a trip they'd earmarked for South America to save the pagoda for Brisbane, for all time.
Yeah, for Queensland.
For Queensland, that's right. For Brisbane, Queensland, Australia.
Yes.
And you've been to the pagoda a few times since Expo concluded. What do you think of it?
Oh, it's very good, you know. It gets you in.
Yes, yes.
When you've been involved with it like that, it really gets you in.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Pitt. Are there any other things that you'd like to say to the camera, to all our viewers about the pagoda?
Oh, well, certainly. Go down to South Bank and look at the pagoda and think yourself, of why we saved it. It's a thing you've got to see to believe it, and it gets you, and I'm really proud it did.
Well, that's wonderful, Mr. Pitt. Well, thank you very much for your time. I do have a little statement from Councillor David Hinchliffe, who you may remember was the chairman of the Save the Pagoda Committee Fund.
Yes.
And if you don't mind, he's in New York at the moment. He can't be here.
Could have taken us with him. I can talk to Yankee.
And as I said, he's in New York, but he has a little statement which he'd like me to read out for you. Is that okay?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Now, this is the statement from Councillor David Hinchliffe, former Brisbane City Council councillor. Whenever I cast my mind back to those heady post-Expo days and the mad panic associated with our battle to save the Nepalese pagoda and keep it here in Brisbane as a lasting tribute, I think of Frank and Mara Pitt and their extraordinary generosity. I also think of that phrase, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. That's exactly what happened in relation to the pagoda. In order to raise the $250,000 to pay the Nepalese government for the pagoda, I cobbled together grants from 3 levels of government, council, state and federal governments. But all of their grants were conditional. The one central core condition was that we had to demonstrate that there was strong local community support for the campaign. In my negotiations with Gareth Evans, then Foreign Affairs Minister, Graham Richardson, then Environment Minister, Brian Austin, then Treasurer, and Sally Ann Atkinson, then Lord Mayor, the condition of demonstrable public support was absolutely central. The way they insisted we had to demonstrate public support was by setting us a target of $50,000 from the public. If we couldn't do that, then we would not get the grants from those 3 levels of government. The Save the Pagoda Committee organised a fundraising event at a venue in the Valley, which turned out to be spectacularly unsuccessful. With a heavy heart and great personal embarrassment, I announced to Brisbane's media that we had fallen well short of our fundraising efforts, and as a result we would likely lose government funding and of course lose the pagoda. And that's where you and Myra came in, isn't it, Frank?
Yeah.
Because you heard the story on the news.
Yeah, it was on Sunday night. Well, it was on, TV was on Channel 10.
Yes, yes.
And we normally don't look at Channel 10 already. And it came and I switched it on and it said, the pagoda will be sold to Eric Orchard tomorrow.
Oh. And that's when you contacted Councillor David Hinchliffe the next day, you contacted the Expo the next day, and you said, we'll put in that money.
That's right. When you've got something that is unusual and an icon, you grab it with both hands.
Yes.
And hang on to it.
Of course, yes.
And
And that's exactly what the pagoda was.
oh yes.
Yes.
So we did that, and I said to Mara, she doesn't always agree with me. I said, did you hear that on TV? And she said, yeah. I said, well, let's put the money in. She said, yes.
Well, I'm sure the people
like that shocked me. She usually said no to whatever I no matter how good it is.
Well, I'm sure the people of Brisbane and Queensland, Australia are forever in your debt, and I'll continue Mr. Councillor Hinchliffe's statement. So Frank and Mara told me that they had put aside some money for a retirement holiday, but they had such enjoyment from the Expo experience that they decided to allocate those funds to this lasting memorial, the pagoda. Remember, it was the 80s and the era when the creed, greed is good, was supreme. Personal excess was everywhere and self-sacrifice was rare. I couldn't believe such selfless generosity could exist in our community at that time. Ironically, it was precisely at our worst moment that our fortunes changed. By announcing the failure of our fundraising efforts so publicly, we generated the publicity that caught the attention of Frank and Mara Pitt, and it was their intervention that resulted in our ultimate success. Life can be funny like that. Frank and Mara are a truly unique couple. They are ordinary citizens whose charity and sense of community is simply extraordinary. I have often been struck in public life that the most extraordinary people I've met have all been ordinary people. It's not so-called celebrities who get things done. It's folk like the Pitts. We will be forever in their debt. And that's from David Hinchliffe, former Deputy Mayor and former Chairman of Save the Pagoda Committee. So we're all in your debt, Frank.
Yeah.
We're all in your debt.
Yeah.
And we'd like to thank you very much for keeping the pagoda as an everlasting symbol of the goodwill of Expo 88 and also of your own goodwill as well.
Yeah. Well, I can't see why others didn't come in on it. Wealthy people could let that slip through their hands just like that.
Yes, yes.
It was a great opportunity.
But you saved the day in the end, and that's the important thing, and it will always be remembered as Pitt's Pagoda in my eyes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much again, Frank.
Yep.
And thank you, Myra. And that's John McGregor from Friends of the Pagoda, Foundation Expo 88, and the 25th anniversary of World Expo 88 People's Committee, signing off. Goodbye.